So how are your 8 worldly concerns? Are you taking good care of them? Not losing them? Okay. So this session is our last for this. So we're going to have to continue, definitely, because at some other later date, because we don't have the time now. I will be back at ABC on the 5th, but the topic is different then. Okay, so just to go briefly through the meditation on death, so that when we do the 10 innermost jewels of the Kadampa tradition, that will really resonate some more. I'd love to really have more time to teach about this, because there's a 10-point meditation that a Sangha gave about impermanence in one of his texts that is really lovely, but we just don't have time. So, the important thing from the death meditation is that there's 3 main points. That the time of our death is definite. That death itself is definite. Okay, the time is indefinite, and when we die, only the Dharma is of help to us. Okay, so in thinking about the fact that death is definite, we consider that anybody who has been alive in the past, even great leaders, great religious figures, all of them have died, except the present ones, but they will die also, okay? That there's nowhere we can go in samsara where we're going to be free of death. We can go here, we can go there, we can, Walt Disney froze, I think it was either his whole body or his head, when he died, as a way of preventing death, thinking that they'll find a way to resuscitate him later on. Doesn't work, okay? And then the third point under that outline is that we can die without having practiced the Dharma. So we may say, okay, I really intend to practice, I'm going to do it. Death isn't going to happen to me. I can cheat death somehow, but there's actually no way. And so when we come to terms with that, then it really helps us see the value of our life. And we conclude that from this contemplation that we really have to practice the Dharma. If we could remain in this life with its, what we call pleasure, fine, but there's no way. Okay? And then the second big outline is that the time of death is indefinite. Okay? And so people die at all different times. And here's where reading the newspaper, looking at the news online, is really good, because you see how all sorts of people woke up in the morning thinking, okay, today is going to be, I'm going to do this and this and that and that, and then something happened in the middle of the day and they're gone. And even people who are in the hospital who are terminally ill, they still hold the idea, I won't die today. Maybe it'll be, soon, but it won't be today. But on the day we die, it's right there. No getting away from it. And then in addition, our body is very fragile. We feel that our body's so strong, but it's not. I mean, you just get a little cut here and some bacteria go in and, your body can get septic. So it's not like our body is strong and impermeable to other forces. And then, in addition, the body itself is quite weak. So even if we get sick, very difficult. Some diseases we recover easily, but some very difficult, And injuries to, mishaps, accidents and things like that can easily cause death. So the point is that there's actually a lot in our life that can make death happen, whereas we have to work very hard to stay alive. In other words, if we just did nothing, we would die of starvation or thirst. So we have to work hard, to get food, to have clothing, to protect the body, build a house, to protect the body, do all these kinds of things, just to stay alive, whereas the body itself, is on its way out all the time. So when we think about the impermanence of the, indefiniteness of the time of death, then we conclude that we have to practice Dharma now. Okay? So knowing that death is definite, we say, I have to practice the Dharma. Knowing that the time of death is indefinite, that people die young, people die old, we don't know when our time is going to be, then we conclude that not only do we have to practice Dharma, but we have to do it now. There's no time to waste because, as they say, our next life may come before tomorrow. And then the third major outline is that at the time of death, what is really important is the Dharma. The karma we've created, the habits of different ways of thinking that we've familiarized ourselves with in our mind, this is what's going to come with us into the next life. So most people spend their whole lifetime fussing about and trying to get things that they can't take with them. Okay, for example, wealth. People work really hard, you want to have more money, even you get it, you can't take it with you. It all stays here. And the really pitiful part is your children fight over it. It sounds funny, but it's true. I can't tell you how many families that happens to. See, we can't take our money with. And I don't care how much Bank of Hell money they burn. You're not going to get it. Okay? All you're going to get is air pollution from burning the Bank of Hell money. Our friends and relatives also, the people that we always want to be with, who our life is so interwoven with, at the time of death, they can't come with us. Impossible. They stay here, we go on alone. Now you think, oh, well, at least when I die, can I have my whole family around me, holding my hand, telling me how much they love me, how much they're going to miss me, and then at least I can die peacefully. Now think about it. Do you really want your whole family around you, crying, grasping onto you, saying, don't die, I can't stand it if you're going to die. Don't leave me. Do you really want your whole family around you? I don't. No way. So we have this beautiful image, our daydream of I'm going to die, and finally all my family members are going to realize how much they love me. And they're all going to apologize for all the things they've did over the years that, I didn't like. Finally, they're going to get it. And on my deathbed, they're going to say, I love you so much. So we have this fantasy like that. Yeah, you think that's really going to happen? No, they're going to bring your revised will and a pen and say, sign here on the dotted line, so that you will all the money to them, Or they're going to be hysterical, crying and sobbing. You're trying to be peaceful and die, and they're hysterical. Yeah. So think about it. They can't come with. No way. And then third is even our body, this treasured lump of organic goo. Yeah, that we've had our whole life, that we think is so wonderful. But what is it? You open your body, it's really organic garbage. Yeah? So your stomach, your spleen, those beautiful intestines, yeah, your esophagus, all, the body that we're so attached to, we've got to leave behind. And the body really betrays us at death time, because sometimes it can be very painful. So we've spent our whole life trying to make the body attractive, trying to make the body comfortable. Yeah, so much of what we do is to make the body comfortable. How many meditation cushions have you tried in an effort to get comfortable when you meditate? Is your body ever comfortable? Yeah? So here's this body that we pamper, and at the time of death, it just says, okay, bye, done. Yeah? And it stays here, it decays. Yeah? We go on alone. So maybe you have some dream. Oh, when I die, they will get me a really expensive coffin. Because they'll all feel so guilty for how they treated me when I was alive. So they'll get me a really beautiful coffin. Yeah, kind of mahogany wood with gold-plated handles. And, these beautiful cushions inside. They'll dress me in my favorite whatever and lay me in the box. And the undertaker will make me look years younger than I looked before. So I can just sit there and I'll look so peaceful. My body will look wonderful. Yeah. Really? Really? They're going to do that? Anyway, even if they did, they throw it in a fire and it all burns up. Yeah, so thousands of dollars they spent on getting you a beautiful coffin burns up in the fire. Do you want them to do that? Better use for the money, isn't there? Okay, so we realize that if our possessions and wealth, our friends and relatives, our body, all stay here, what comes with us is the karma, the karmic seeds that we created, defending this body from harm, defending it from criticism, defending our relatives from people who try and harm them, all the karma from greedily lying and cheating and overcharging people to get more money. All of the stuff that we work so hard for stays here, and the karma comes with us. So it really asks us to stop and check, what am I doing? If I can't take this stuff with me, why am I creating negative karma to have it? That karma, that doesn't stay here. That comes with, and that's going to influence what I become. Okay, so when we think about this third point, that at the time of death, body, wealth and possessions and family and friends stay here, and only our Dharma practice, our karma comes with us, then we come to the conclusion that not only do we have to practice Dharma, and we have to practice it now, but we have to practice it purely. We can't mix it with the 8 worldly concerns, looking for the happiness of this life. Okay? So we have to really try and have a pure motivation. That's what it comes down to, that third point. Okay? So we can see that when we really deeply consider our death, it makes it quite evident to us what is important in our life. So like I said in the morning, it's not to make us afraid of death. It's to get us to prepare for death by living a good life, so that when the time of death comes, we just take off without fear, without regret. Lama Yeshe used to use the image of a boat in the middle of an ocean, and there's a bird standing on the railing at the edge of the boat, and when the bird takes off, it just goes. It just flies. It doesn't start flying and look back and go, oh, I want to go back to the boat. I don't want to leave. No, because the bird, you just go. So at the time of death, it's really important that we don't cling on to anything from this life. Yeah, because none of it stays with, and that clinging will only make us very, very miserable. Okay? So, to really take the death meditation to heart and come to the conclusion that the Dharma is very important for us. Yeah? So that means ethical conduct is very important. Renunciation of samsara is important. Bodhicitta is important. Wisdom is important. Yeah, all 6 perfections are important. And then, if we take those to heart and practice them, again, then we can be very peaceful, like that monk that I told you about this morning. Okay, so let's look at the 10 innermost jewels of the Kadampa. We're going to go quickly. So these are quite beautiful because they really, they challenge us. They're very, very challenging. So even if we cannot do them perfectly now, just thinking about them, just imagining in our meditation that thinking about them puts so much good imprint in our mind. Okay? So don't be afraid of them. And in your meditation, really, try and imagine yourself thinking like this from your heart and see what it does. It's very transforming. Okay. So in the 10 innermost jewels, there's 3 sections, okay? The first section is called the 4 trusting acceptances, okay? So the first one of these is, as our innermost outlook on life, being willing to accept the Dharma with total trust. Okay, so it's the basic fundamental outlook on life. We value the Buddha's teachings and we place our trust in them and have a strong determination to transform our minds so they become like the teachings. Okay. The second one is, as our innermost attitude towards the Dharma, being willing to trust, willing to accept with total trust, even becoming a beggar. Okay. So, it's much more important in our life to practice the Dharma than to accumulate wealth. And so if accumulating wealth is going to interfere with our Dharma practice, then to have the attitude that I'm willing to become impoverished. Yeah? Now, of course, you need something to eat and, so on. So this is not saying make yourself impoverished, but it's saying for the sake of your practice, because you realize that it's so important, you're willing to become impoverished if that's what you need to do to keep up your Dharma practice. Okay? So again, it's not saying that you give everything away and you become a beggar, but it's working at our attitude to help us relinquish attachment to certain things. Okay, then the third is, as our innermost attitude towards becoming a beggar, being willing to accept with total trust, even having to die. Okay, so the Dharma is so important to us, we're not willing to give up our practice in order to run around and have a good time and accumulate wealth. We'd rather, be impoverished. And if we're impoverished, if that even means that we have to die, so be it. Because dying with a virtuous mind is more worthwhile to us than staying alive with a non-virtuous mind. Okay? Dying with a mind that has a sincere Dharma motivation to attain nirvana, to attain awakening, is much more important than prolonging our life and forgetting about the Dharma. That's what this one's saying. And then the fourth one here is, as our innermost attitude towards death, being willing to accept with total trust, even having to die friendless in a secluded place. Okay? So if we're going to die practicing the Dharma, even if it comes to this, of course we're not going to seek this, but even if it comes to this, we're willing to die and be alone when we die and be in a secluded place. Yeah. And for the really great practitioners, I think this is kind of a nice way to die. They don't want a big fuss all around them. Okay? So that's the first set, the 4 trusting acceptances. The next set are the 3 Vajra convictions, often called the 3 abandonments. Okay? So 3 very strong convictions that we have. So the first one here is to go ahead practicing the Dharma without consideration for what other people think. What? What? My Dharma practice is more important than what other people think about me? My reputation is so important. I want people to approve of me. I want praise. Yeah. I don't want to do the smallest thing that people will blame me for, that will earn me blame or disrepute. Yeah. When you did the meditation on the 8 worldly concerns, this is the way our mind is, isn't it? And here it is saying, being willing to go ahead without consideration for what other people think. So we may be practicing the Dharma, other people may think we're out of our mind. Doesn't move us, it doesn't make us shake. It doesn't make doubt in our mind, because we've really thought about what samsara is and what the causes of it are. Yeah, and we really have thought about that there's an alternative and a path to that alternative. So the 4 truths. Yeah, we have deep conviction in those. And so even other people tell us, they think we're nuts. That doesn't move our heart. Because we've really contemplated deeply and we have a strong conviction. The second one is the conviction to keep the constant company of wisdom of our commitments. Okay? So we value and cherish our precepts. Whatever commitments we've made to our teachers, we value and treasure them. We're going to keep those commitments. Okay? Because we have a very deep conviction in karma. And we know that if we keep our commitments, we'll be creating virtue, and that will help our practice. Whereas if we are negligent about our commitments and don't follow the precepts we've taken, then we know it's not going to bode well. Okay. And then the third one is the conviction to carry on continuously without getting caught up in useless concerns. So we're willing to focus on our practice, to really, let's say, meditate on the disadvantages of self-centeredness and the benefits of cherishing others. We're really willing to go deep in our mind and root out the self-preoccupation, and to identify it as our enemy that makes us do negative actions. Okay, and so we have a strong conviction that we're going to carry on doing our practice, transforming our mind. No matter whether people think we're nuts, no matter whether we have the food we like or even enough food, and we're not going to get caught up in useless concerns. Like that thing that you think is part of your body, but is not your body. Yeah. Do you want to be dying and checking your Facebook page? Yeah, I got to see what my friend ate for breakfast. Yeah, sorry, Lord of Death, I'm busy. Come back later. I've got to check my friend's Facebook page. Okay? Not getting distracted by that kind of nonsense. Okay? Then the last 3 of the 10 are called mature attitudes towards being expelled, finding, and attaining. Okay? So the first one is about being expelled. So being willing to be expelled from the ranks of so-called normal people. Okay? Normal people, what do? Yeah, they go to school, they get a job, they get married, they have 2.5 kids. Don't ask me what happened to the 0.5 kid. Yeah? Then they, save all their money. Yeah? They have a good social life. They climb up the corporate ladder and they die. Yeah? When I was my first year at university, I had a friend. We were 18 years old. No, we were on a special program. We were 17 years old. He had his whole life planned out, what he was going to do. I wound up talking to him a few months ago. He did all of that. When he told me that he was going to do like that, I thought, that didn't interest me at all, okay? We were dating and it was like, sorry, I don't want to be part of your plan. I want my life to be vibrant. I don't want my life to be, all planned out and regimented. Anyway, he was a brilliant guy. He's a PhD in some scientific field and a doctor, and he's doing all this research at a famous hospital. And he's brilliant. He's helping people. But, he's the epitome of being normal. Yeah. Whereas me, I was always a little bit like, let's go try this, let's go try that. I asked some of my, because I felt like I was brought up, like in a certain way to be a certain way. I was supposed to be a good girl, and get married and, have children and work and, do the whole thing. And I didn't do that. My parents, my poor parents, they got me as a daughter. Yeah? They wanted a normal kid who's going to do what everybody else does. Yeah. But they got me. And then when their friends said, oh, well, what's your daughter doing now? She couldn't say, well, she's in medical school, she's a lawyer, she's an engineer, she's making, a six-figure salary. She had to say, she's living in India where there's no flush toilets. Yeah? My poor mother, she wanted a daughter where she could go to mother-daughter fashion shows with. She got me. So, my brother was the next one. He did everything he was supposed to do. So, thank goodness for that. But I was the oldest, and what to do? Yeah? So, you're just, if other people don't consider you typical and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're okay with it. Yeah, you're okay with it. Okay. And then the second one is being willing to be regarded among the ranks of dogs. Me? I don't want to be regarded as a dog. We look at Milarepa, the great Tibetan yogi Milarepa. People thought he was definitely not normal. And they thought he was like a dog. He ate nettles. His body had a greenish hue. He walked around with hardly anything on and had long matted hair. Yeah. And then these logicians would come, these intellectuals who knew all the categories of this and that would come. And he would just tell them off, basically. Not tell them off because he wanted to hurt them, but point out the deficiencies in their practice. But they would look at him and say, who is this guy? Skinny, green, dirty, living in a cave, no money. But Milarepa attained awakening in that lifetime. And all those people who criticized him are still going around in samsara. Okay? But he wasn't there to try and prove himself to anybody or to have a good reputation. He was there to practice the Dharma. And then the last one, after all of that, is being completely involved in attaining the divine rank of a Buddha. Yeah? So your whole focus is to become a Buddha. Why? Not because you want to be the best and the highest and you want people to give you some fake flowers. And some water. Huh? Oh, and some 3-in-1, okay. Yeah. That's not why we become Buddhas. Yeah. We become Buddhas because in the depth of our heart, there's the total urge to be of the greatest benefit to sentient beings. Okay? So, these 10 are quite potent. And like I said, you just kind of go through them and imagine. It's not saying that you have to, be regarded as a dog and so on. It's just getting in touch. It's creating a very strong, compassionate intention in our own mind. That's what these are about. Such a strong, compassionate intention that nothing is going to dissuade us. Okay? So, with that, our weekend together comes to a close. And we'll just have to do karma and the disadvantages of samsara next time. Those things won't go away. So we can do them later. Okay? So please think about the teachings. Yeah, put them into practice. Discuss them with your friends. Because all of this will really help you. Yeah? And like I said, you're also incredibly fortunate to have the life that you have. So please use it well. Okay, so let's just sit quietly for a couple of minutes. So remember what you heard so you can continue thinking about it at home. If you can't remember what the 9 points of the death meditation were, or the 10 innermost jewels of the Kadampa, it's all on tape. So you can listen again. And then let's dedicate.
Due to this merit, may we soon attain the awakened state of Guru Buddha, that we may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious Bodhi mind not yet born arise and grow. May the born have no decline, but increase forevermore. In the snowy mountain pure land, you're the source of good and happiness, powerful, tenzing, yet so generously. May you stay until samsara ends.
Okay, so hopefully see you on the 5th. If not before that, you have the program of all the teachings this week.
Venerable, the Saturday group